My name is Linda Fiebiger. I'm a lecturer in human osteoarchaeology in the School of History, Classics and Archaeology, but today I'm here in the Edinburgh College of Art to collect a skull that has been kept in the college for a number of years that we hope to scientifically analyze. Here we have the skull now, and obviously what we're most interested in is the age of the individual and their sex. So as we only have the skull, we have to rely on a limited number of areas that we can actually analyze. The first thing we'd probably look at is the dentition, and you can see here that all the teeth have erupted, including the third molar, or what we now call wisdom tooth. Another area we would like to look at is this bone here, which fuses usually in the late teens. So the combination of the erupted third molar and this bone would tell us that this individual is probably at least in their 20s. The next thing we want to look at is sex assessment. Was this a man or a woman? How do we tell the difference? Well, the main difference between men and women is obviously down to hormonal differences, which lead to differences in shape, but also in size. So looking at the face first and looking at the area just above the eyes, you can see that the area here is quite robust, which would indicate that this is a male. Another area we can look at here is the back of the head, where we have a number of muscle attachments, and these would be more developed in men. And again, this kind of clearly visible line here would tell us that this is a male individual. The mandible or lower jaw is another area that we can look at for sex assessment. And if you think about the comparison, the differences between men and women, men generally tend to have squarer, more pronounced jaws. And this is down to the underlying skeletal structure. So the angle in the jaw just here would be much closer to 90 degrees in men than it would be in women. And also in this area here, again, just like at the back of the head, we have muscle attachments that are more pronounced in men than in women. So overall, looking at both the cranium and the mandible, everything indicates that this is an adult male. One interesting feature on the teeth of this adult male were these lines that you can see here. And these indicate an episode of either physiological or nutritional stress in childhood, because your tooth crowns form in utero and early childhood. So this gives us a record of childhood health of this individual. So either a period of malnutrition or severe illness that caused these growth disturbances in the teeth. This highlights some of the difference between anatomical collection and archaeological collections. You can see here this individual is from a medieval Scottish cemetery and was obviously buried for hundreds of years, and you can see the color differences in this individual. It's quite yellow, brownish, whereas the anatomical skull, which was boiled down to remove all the soft tissue, has quite a opaque white appearance. During its time in the Edinburgh College of Art, this cranium was obviously used as probably a prop or to draw still lifes, etc. You can see it's full of paint splatters, and also there's some wax just in the eye socket there. Originally, however, this would probably have been an anatomical part of an anatomical teaching skeleton, because you can still see the hinges and screws where this skull would have been mounted. So you have to imagine it as something very similar to this. Today, of course, we use plastic skeletons for teaching, but when anatomical teaching started, actual human skeletons were used, and what would happen is they would deflesh them and boil them to get rid of the soft tissue, and then mount them very much in the fashion like you see here on this plastic individual.
Hello, my name is Elena Kranioti. I'm a forensic pathologist and anthropologist. I work at the University of Edinburgh since 2010 as a lecturer in forensic anthropology. And the project I'm going to talk to you about today has to do with an anatomical specimen from the College of Art that I was asked to do the biological profiling and extract as much information possible from the CT scans of it. So this is a 3D reconstruction of the skull based on CT scan images that we did on Western Hospital. As you can see, a lot of the details is depicted here. I tried to reconstruct several elements as the yellow area that you see here, which is the frontal sinus, and the red areas that you can see right here are the bony labyrinths, which are the elements that are responsible for hearing and balance in the humans. The frontal sinus is a very important anatomical feature that is unique to humans, and in forensic occasions it is used for positive identification. So in this little video you can see the exact anatomical position of these anatomical structures in the specimen. One can actually get measurements and extract biological information of the skull as sex, or one can do analysis of the teeth and so on. This is just a close-up to see the morphology of the sinus on the specific individual, which we measured, and these are the bony labyrinth structures that I mentioned, and a close-up of the element with the 3 semicircular canals and the cochlea, as you can see here. 3D technology today gives us unlimited possibilities. In our example, in this anatomical specimen, one can place several elements as the eyes, as you can see here, and the brain, and can give us an exact idea of how the person was initially. One can use these anatomical elements to try and do a facial reconstruction, in other words, to show exactly how the face of the individual was. So I think this is an excellent example of what 3D technology can offer in terms of analysis, visualization, and interpretation.
Hello, my name is Diego Zamora. I'm doing a PhD in Edinburgh College of Art, and what we're going to be doing today is printing a 3D skull that was extracted from a CT scan. So basically what the software is doing right now is splitting the geometry we want to print in as many layers as necessary. So in this case we can see we have 535 layers. Once you've processed the geometry with a computer, you will need to actually get the printer going. What's going to happen is that the computer is going to be sending those slices we were talking about as flat patterns. The printer will actually start piling them up until the whole geometry is printed. For that, what we need is actually some filament. In this case we are printing with PLA, which is polylactic acid, and is extracted from cornstarch. How it works is actually we have a spool at the back of the machine, and then some gears are pushing it through a tube and coming to a hot end, as it is called, which will actually melt the plastic and put it down into the different layers. Now we can see how the printer is building the geometry and 2 other things. One of them is the support material, which is actually helping to maintain the geometry at the right position, And the other one is the infill, that is an structure that will help the geometry to be fully built. Additionally, as this has been extracted from a CT scan, we can see that there are some inner details that are being built right now that otherwise wouldn't be visible. It's actually about to finish now. So now we have the manifold that is finished. Once that is done, we just need to remove it from the build platform. And what we'll need to do is just remove the support material and maybe a little bit of sanding, but that will be it, our final model.